Tony, the way you use the joystick, you're like this.
Hey everyone, so 2016 was an insane year for me, easily the most insane year for me, career-wise at least, and I wanted to do a quick wrap-up video at the end of the year here to talk about all the things that happened in 2016. I also asked you guys for some questions that you might have had for me about this year. Those are going to be at the end of this video, and as a quick side note, I am going to a convention as soon as I'm done with this video, so that's why I'm dressed like this. Though, to be fair, I did once wear this to SourceFed for no reason whatsoever, so I think it's a cool outfit, I'm not gonna lie. I freaking love this thing. With all of that, let's get to 2016. So I started 2016 off on kind of a bummer note. I had my seizure at the beginning of January this year. It was easily the scariest thing that has ever happened to me health-wise. I was pretty damn terrified. Not being able to speak was so weird, and just being here but not being able to actually get it out was so disorienting. And really, I think I've talked a lot about it, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but I think although it started my year off on kind of a bummer, it also started my year off on a very humbling note and a kind of a wake-up call about how quickly everybody tells you, like, your life can change in the blink of an eye, and we've heard that a million times in our lives, but I feel like this really taught me, like, when you see it or feel it firsthand, it teaches you differently, and this taught me, like, my life could be completely different for no reason whatsoever. You know, it could just randomly be completely different. And to sit in a neurologist's office and say, well, come on, it can't be epilepsy because, I mean, like, I've gone this far. And to hear, well, no, that's how epilepsy starts in adults. It just starts, was a huge wake-up call for me. And I think it made me so much more appreciative of all of the things that I can do, and made me fight a little harder for the things that I was advised, you know, that it's going to be a while that I'd be able to do. Like, for instance, I was told not to run the Austin half after my concussion, and I didn't run it, but I did run a half marathon, which I'll get to a little later in this video, 9 months later. So it was really, really cool to be able to do those things, to be able to do them safely and to do them healthfully, if that's a word. And yeah, I think it could have been so much worse. I'm so lucky that it wasn't worse. I haven't had any more seizures, knock on braid. I haven't had any more seizures, and I've been very, very lucky. It could have gone a lot worse for me. So yeah, I think although it wasn't the best way to start the year, it certainly gave me a lot of perspective. A few days after my seizure, I traveled to Australia for the very first time, which was really cool. I've never been, obviously, since it was my first time. I just said that, but it was really cool. It was something I think that I needed. Not to travel, I needed to travel to Australia. I think I needed, right after my seizure, to do something that was active, that was new for me, that was, you know, getting out there and kind of getting back on the horse and doing something. I think it's kind of exactly what I needed. I needed to get out, and I really am so thankful for the support of my coworkers then and my friends and family, who all were very kind and supportive during that time. Ryan and I flew together to Australia, and I already hate flying. Like, flying is already the worst without the added pressure of possibly being the medical emergency that, like, diverts an entire plane full of people. I was already hated flying. Then that, yeah, it was not fun. But Ryan was super, super kind and calmed me down the whole flight, which I was very thankful for. And we had so much fun in Australia. We shot a bunch of stuff for free play. I got bit in the face by a quokka. It was awesome. And I did a ropes course. We went to the Australian premiere of Laser Team. We did a lot. RTXAU was really, really cool. The fans were amazing. So yeah, so thanks to everybody who came out and was kind to me, because it's, honestly, you guys helped me through a very scary time. So that was really cool. I had so much fun, and I really hope to get back to Australia very soon. In March of this year, I turned 29, the big 29, baby. I am not remotely worried about turning 30. I have never lied about my age. I will never lie about my age. I feel like there's so many women in my industry who are older than I am, or my industries, I guess cosplay and video game type thingies, whatever, who are older than me, who kick ass and continue to kick ass, and they're so inspiring to me. So maybe I'll freak out when the day comes, but I'm not worried at all about turning 30, and I had a really fantastic 29th birthday. I had a very quiet day. I went for a trail run with Gav, which was really nice. We had a fantastic dinner. It was just a really lovely, fantastic day, and I enjoyed every bit of 29, and so I'm looking forward to 30 for sure. Speaking of running, I did so much running this year. This was easily my biggest running year yet. I ran all summer long, which was awesome. I did a bunch of training runs for the half marathon that I mentioned earlier. I completed the half marathon, which was a huge accomplishment for me. It felt really good to come back from being told this is not your year for a half marathon, and then being able to complete one and to feel good doing it was really, really awesome. I still totally intend to do a full race report of the Beat the Blurch half marathon, which was so cool. Highly recommend. Washington is stupid pretty to run in. It was so much fun, and it's definitely a great one for your first half. I hope in 2017 to do my first full. We'll see if that happens. That is a huge step, but yeah, it was really awesome. I definitely want to keep running. I have not been doing as much running as I should have, but I found a lot of joy in running this year. Honestly, it gave me something to look forward to, and something to do and to feel accomplished by in kind of a weird transitionary part of my life. So it was really cool. I love running. I never thought I would say that. I used to hate running, and sometimes I still hate running, but yeah, that was definitely my favorite activity that I did this year, was my half marathon. And on that transitionary weird period of my life, the biggest change in my life this year, the scariest thing to happen to me career-wise, I'm no longer at Rooster Teeth. Again, I've kind of done some videos about it, so I won't go too much into detail, but it was easily the scariest thing that happened to me career-wise in my whole life, and it was such a big transition and such a big change. I mean, I uprooted my life in LA, where I was a host and where I could get hosting work if I just like threw a shoe out my door, because that's how Los Angeles is. There's people with podcasts and people with YouTube channels and all this different stuff going on in LA, and to come to Austin, where there's really not a lot of that, was a huge change. And I know a lot of people think that, again, like I picked my job at Rooster Teeth because Gav was here, but actually I had an offer in LA, I had an offer in San Francisco, I had some potential stuff going on in New York, and Gav and I had kind of prepared for me not to be in Austin. We really wanted to pick, or I really wanted to pick, but we talked about wanting to pick the best job, and that's why I picked Rooster Teeth, was because I really believed in what they were doing, and I still believe in what they're doing. So it felt a lot scarier, I think, because I was here in Austin, and I felt like, oh my God, I've uprooted my life to come here. And of course I love my life here, my family's here, Gav's here, I absolutely adore Austin, but that made the transition out of Rooster Teeth that much scarier, for sure. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely very scary. I have to keep using that word, but that's how it felt. It was terrifying. But you guys made it awesome, and the way that you guys made it awesome was through Patreon. And I know a lot of people think that I left Rooster Teeth to go and do Patreon. That is 0% the case, or what happened, or how it happened. I definitely had thought about doing Patreon previously when I was still at RT. Patreon had actually approached me to do a campaign a couple times, actually, to do a campaign, and I had talked to RT about it, and you know, we had a couple meetings, like what would that look like, how would that work with what I'm doing here, and all that kind of stuff. And it was sort of this nebulous, like, yeah, if I did it, this is kind of what I would do. But there was nothing set in stone, and I felt like when it was clear I wasn't going to be at RT anymore, that I was like, oh fuck, I gotta get this shit together, man. Like, it was so manic, and like, oh my God, is it gonna fail, and is it gonna be, it's public, you know, like, am I gonna publicly fail in front of everyone? And like, it was so crazy and furious and just nuts. And honestly, that was the perfect intro to Patreon, because I feel like that has been, my entire Patreon experience has been so cool and so positive and so manic at the same time. And it was definitely a little bit crazy, and it continues to be a little bit crazy, but in the coolest, most amazing way possible. I'm so thankful to you guys, because whether or not you back the Patreon, I'm so thankful to you guys who watch these videos and who tune into my Twitch channel, and it's just who read my tweets and everything else, because I can't explain, I think, fully how scary it is to enter a transition like I did, and to feel like you're starting something new, and to feel all the different things that I felt. I think it was a really, really scary period, and I felt like I had so many doubts and was so worried and anxious and all of these different things, and you guys knocked it out of the park. I could not have remotely predicted it was going to go the way it did. And honestly, I think a lot of people kind of picture me almost like as Taylor Swift, who's like, when she wins an award, but that's honestly how I felt. Like I had my predictions of how I thought Patreon was going to go, and it just was ridiculous. I think at one point my Patreon was the third most funded Patreon on all of Patreon. Like, I think I was right above, or maybe right below, I can't quite remember, it was in August of this year, Pentatonics, who I'm like a huge fan of, so it was like really, 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 really cool. It's been so much fun. The Patreon backers have been so patient with me because I do everything by myself. It's been insane, and I think it's only fitting that it all started with like an oh fuck moment, because it's continued to be the coolest, craziest oh fuck moment of 2016 for me, for sure. And I think that's honestly been kind of my theme of 2016, has been crazy stuff happening, but then it like blossoming into something even cooler and crazier. It's like you see a firework go off and you're like, ah, sweet, and then in like 900 fireworks go off from that one, you're like, blah. Like that's kind of how my 2016 has been. So yeah, I feel like that kind of all merged into one subject, but yeah, 2016. Haha. I did some other cool stuff career-wise this year. I shot a fan series for one of my favorite games of all time, The Seventh Guest. I got to shoot at an abandoned prison, which was so cool and scary and fun. I would absolutely shoot another fan series with them at any time. That crew was awesome. I love their sense of humor. John Johnson is the funniest dude in the world. He made me laugh so hard on our last night together. He has this one line. I won't spoil it, but he has this line, and he turns to me really slowly to say it, and I blew like 20 takes because it was so funny. I just had a blast shooting with them. I would love to come back at any time. It was super fun. And something I never get to do. There was like some serious emotional acting, and I kind of feel like I got my feet wet in this series, and I would love to dive right in and do more of that in 2017 for sure. Something else I did that is kind of related to things that I've done before, but totally new. I shot my first calendar. What? So crazy. Martin Wong and I did some photos together in San Francisco, and we did all non-cosplay because I was feeling kind of burned out on cosplay, to be honest, and that happens. And so we did all non-cosplay photos, and then they were freaking gorgeous, because of course they were, because it's Martin. So then I hadn't intended the calendar to be entirely Martin Wong, but he's so damn talented. How could I not? So I went back to San Francisco to shoot the second half of the calendar. It was all cosplay images. The calendar is currently being printed and will be out in a week or two, I think, like actually being sent out. Pre-orders were insane, and of course, just like Patreon, everything was insane. And I was like, I thought it'll be this many, and then it was this many, and it's been so cool. So it was definitely something that I started late in the year. It was funded on my Patreon, I think in September or August, and I think in August, and then taking the photos and then doing other stuff and then coming back to take the rest of the photos. It was just crazy, but I definitely will do another one next year. It was so much fun, and it's really, really surreal to have my own calendar, so thank you guys. Some more rapid fire things that happened this year that were really cool. I met Yoshiki, the drummer of X Japan. Oh my god, I fully cried. Not when I was meeting him. Yeah, I cried later because I was so overwhelmed. I feel like I can't even explain. I idolized him as a teenager. He's like, when I was having a bad day, I would watch Yoshiki's videos and like watch him drum and just like marvel in the fact that he just threw himself into something that everybody told him he couldn't do and everybody has said he shouldn't be doing anymore. and he just throws himself into it, and he owns all of his emotions, and it was so cool. And so I got to host a screening for the documentary We Are X, and I got to ask him questions, and I got to talk to him. We took selfies together. I was the happiest person in the whole world. It was definitely like the coolest thing that happened this year. It was so fun, and I was a total fangirl, and yeah, it was very cool. We also got a kitten this year. Columbo is our super cute black cat. Love her to death. She's amazing, and we rescued her from the Austin Animal Shelter. Smee is obsessed with her. He loves her so much. They clean each other all the time. They're so cute. She's so sweet. She loves being held and snuggling, which is so not Smee, so it's been really, really nice. And that was mostly it for my 2016. I'm kind of rushing through because I know I'm running out of space on my card right now, but I will get to your questions that you asked me, so here we go. Keller Christie NA says, anything you started in 2016 that you haven't finished yet but want to? Definitely. I started on Sylvanas this year. I actually started on her this year, which was really cool. I made a bunch of the thigh armor. In fact, I finished all of the thigh armor, like the basis for it. I worked on the boots. I started on the shoulders. It's been really crazy. Honestly, when I had time, when I wasn't working so much, I was blowing through it, so I know if I find a period of time I'm not doing something that I'll be able to finish it in 2017. Absolutely. I worked on all of the cape is done, which is really cool. I have the ears and all that stuff, so I know I'll finish it in 2017, but I've been taking my time with it, and it's so hard not to look at someone else's and be like, I should just stop and start over, but yeah, that'll be something I definitely finish in 2017. That Dude Gigs asks, whatever happened to those Meg guest appearances on The Know and other stuff we were promised? Will we see them in 2017, or has that ship sailed? I totally miss doing content on The Know. I really, really do. I feel like it's a channel that I was a part of when it grew so much, so it means a lot to me. To be perfectly honest, they haven't asked me to come back to do any content, so that's why I haven't been back. I would love to do more video game news. Believe it or not, I really love reading a teleprompter. It's the silliest thing, but I do love doing it, and I'm sure it's just because I've been super duper busy, but yeah, they asked me to come back. I'm totally down. Taylor Marie asks, what has been your favorite hair color to rock? Are you ever going to go back to unnatural, or is it all brown and natural from now on? So I had a bunch of different hair colors this year. I started the year off with red hair. I almost immediately dyed it to purple. Then I had a black to purple fade, which was to save my roots for not having to go so much. Then I immediately screwed that up and went with blue, which was so fun. It was actually teal and then a royal blue, but it was basically the same time, so whatever. And then I dyed my hair brown. And honestly, I thought I would never go back to having brown hair. I kept saying after my hair was red that I loved it so much I would never be a brunette again. But I really love having brown hair, actually. I thought I would not like it as much as I do. If I'm gonna go back to an unnatural hair color, which I'm sure I will, I definitely will, it'd be purple. I love the way purple looks. It's an unnatural hair color, obviously, but it looked so understated, like the dark purple I had. I really loved it. I thought it was really pretty. I really, really enjoyed having purple hair. I also would love to have white hair. That would be like in a dream scenario. I could just like wave a wand and my hair was any color under the sun, it would be white. For sure. I love the way the white wigs that I wear look. I think it looks so good. I just know it's really, really, really difficult to get on hair as dark as mine. So yeah, it has been nice though. I haven't had my hair done in months, which is so unheard of for me. For the last like 7 or 8 years, I've gone every 5 to 6 weeks. So it has been a huge change for me to be like, this is my completely natural hair color. It's been pretty cool. JJ Jack asks, how was it working on sets post-RT? Were there many differences in filming setups and how the production teams worked? Not really. Honestly, I've worked on a ton of sets before I worked at RT, and I worked on a ton of sets since. Things weren't really all that different. I think there are sets that run the gamut. I've worked on single camera, like completely indie, low budge setups, and I also worked on the dance show I did this year was like the craziest like television setup ever. It was really, really cool. So yeah, I've worked on all sorts of different sets and they're all pretty much the same, which is cool. I guess the difference at RT is that there's also people doing a bunch of different jobs in the same area, as opposed to like Dance Showdown where it's like everybody's just there to do the show. At RT there's like animators and stuff hanging out in the background of the show. So I think that's probably the main difference. Kurama Font asks, what's the hardest part about your job? I think the hardest part about my job is that I have lots of jobs now. So I'm not only a cosplayer who travels and sells photo prints of her work, I also run my print shop. I order all the prints myself, I pick them up myself, I sign them, I roll them and put them in poster tubes, I send them out. It's all done by me. My Patreon, I order the exclusive print, I sign it, I pick it up, all that stuff. Mailing all of that every month, and you know, also Twitch streaming, hopefully doing YouTube, which I almost never do anymore. All of that stuff is my job now. So it's been a big adjustment to do all sorts of different things and keep all the balls in the air. Obviously, at least one of them has fallen on the ground, and that's YouTube. And I definitely want to remedy that in 2017. I have a lot of really cool content ideas that are coming up for 2017 that'll be on this channel. So I am trying to, I think the biggest change is trying to be less optimistic, if that makes any sense. Like I always think, oh, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And I pile on. Now I'm trying to be like, what can I do? Like, I want to do this thing. How do I do it so I don't have to do anything but stand in this spot and then record? Like, that has been the biggest change for me, I think. And I think the hardest thing is kind of admitting that I can't do it all alone. I'm actually looking to hire someone in 2017, which has been an insane thing to think about. It's been really, really crazy, but I'm really looking forward to not having to do all of the different stuff that I don't have to do. Like, I have to sign, and I want to be able to like personalize and all of that. There's so many ways I could farm out work that I like doing. So like I like personalizing people's signatures. I like being able to do things like when I was pulling prints for the Black Friday sale, some people put like, oh, I really wanted X print, but it was sold out. So I grabbed that print for them. Like I love doing stuff like that. And that means a lot to me. So I never want to like farm it out to a production house where I just sign a bunch of posters and then they just send them out. Like I want to be able to personalize and all that stuff. So I like doing stuff like that. But putting addresses on tubes and sorting order forms, those are things that I'm not so fond of doing. So hopefully in 2017 I won't be doing those anymore. So that was not the question at all. But the question was, what's the hardest part? The hardest part has been being realistic about what I can and can't do, for sure. That was a really roundabout way of saying that, but yeah. Anonymous Froggies asks, how difficult / emotionally taxing was it to transition from working at RT to constantly traveling to conventions or photo shoots? So emotionally taxing, because I hate flying, and I feel like I didn't realize it was going to be it was going to exhaust me so much to fly so much, because I hate it so much, and I'm like on the edge of my seat the entire time I fly, which sucks. And traveling all the time is really hard because I have pets and I have a house and I have a boyfriend, and you're away from them a lot, and also he travels a lot, so it's definitely been an adjustment. I think it's been great because we started as long distance, so we are very, very good at that. But it's definitely emotionally draining when you just want to be home and be in your bed, but you're also so excited to do what you're doing and you're so thankful to do what you're doing. It's a really strange place to be in, for sure. And I think I got really worried when I wasn't at RT anymore. I got really worried that I wasn't going to be doing anything, so I piled a lot of stuff on my plate, and I said yes to a lot of conventions back to back to back. I had a string of events this past year, or this fall really, that were, I think I had 5 events back to back, and so that was really crazy. I definitely did not think about realistically how draining that would be. I would say tiring and draining at the same time. How draining that would be. But I really love it. It's so weird to explain, like loving something so much and also being drained by it doesn't mean you love it any less. Like it's so cool, but you're just so tired. It really just means that I see like a commercial and I start crying, because that's what happens when I get like emotionally tired. I just cry at everything. So it's been a lot of that. Definitely not a robot. Spelled wrong. So should I be the asshole who asks when you and Gavin are getting married? Yes. When are you and Gavin getting married? Well, people stop asking us this fucking question. Regina VD asks, best meme of 2016. Go. My butt. Fire and Ashes 20 asks, do you have a favorite game that you streamed this year? Hands down, Dead by Daylight. Oh my god. Such a great game. Obviously, I streamed The Walking Dead this year. If you haven't done season 3 yet, oh my god, what are you doing with your life? It's amazing. So good. I haven't actually got to talk yet about how I felt about playing it, so it's amazing, but I'm kind of putting that to the side because Walking Dead is like its own amazing holy grail. But a new game that I discovered this year that I was streaming, Dead by Daylight, so great. I'm so glad Ryan made me play it. I was like, I don't want to play, and Ryan was like, come on, just a little bit, you'll like it. And I did. I loved it. So it was so much fun, and basically it just evolves into this. Ryan!
No!
Come on! Right into my badass trap strats. Oh, fucking shit. Oh, fuck!
Hello!
Fucking how did you do that? Ah! Fucked. Petra, what the hell? No! Run, bitch! Run for your goddamn life! Oh, no! No! Oh my god! Oh my god!
So that's just some of the questions you guys left. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all of them, but I really appreciate you guys submitting them. That's a look back for me on 2016. I hope your year was awesome too. And if I have a resolution for 2017, run a full marathon and be more realistic about the things I can and can't do, for sure. And that's it.